feels like the time is right for me to make an expression. Oh, I love you, I need you, I don't want to leave you guessing. So, will you be my friend? Will you stand by me till the end?
Hey, welcome inside my real kitchen. Today I'm gonna make truffles, guava truffles. We're gonna make a guava ganache and fill a chocolate mold with tempered chocolate and then pop them out. Yes. Here's a couple quick notes on tempering chocolate. We're going to be tempering dark chocolate, so the maximum temperature that we're trying to reach is 91 degrees Fahrenheit. But I'm going to be doing this without a thermometer. Basically, what we're doing is raising the chocolate to a certain temperature and then lowering it back down to a certain temperature. This can be done by sight. So, a few reasons to temper chocolate. The first one is that the product sits well at room temperature. The second is that you're going to achieve that shiny, glossy finish on the surface that is so desirable. The third is a snappy, breaking texture. And finally, you have a product that if you're putting it into a mold and it's properly done, will shrink and pull away and pop out incredibly easily. These are all great reasons to learn how to temper chocolate. Otherwise, you can just buy some candy melts. It'll do the same thing. The first thing that we need to do is set up our station and make our ganache. It's important that the ganache not be too hot once you put it in the chocolate mold. Speaking of too hot, today is incredibly warm and humid. There's cloud cover and we're expecting a thunder shower any minute now. And this is a terrible day to temper chocolate. I mean, just absolutely the worst weather. Because one key thing about tempering chocolate is you cannot get any water in that chocolate mixture or it's ruined. Humidity aside, I'm still going to try this. There are a few ways to do it. Okay, method number one is called seeding. That's melting chocolate and setting some aside that has not been melted so that when your first batch has come up to the temperature that you need it to be at, 91 degrees or whatever, you take it off of your double boiler and add the solid chocolate and slowly stir it in until you equalize the temperature between the two. And you keep adding the chocolate until you see that shiny and impressionable chocolate begin to appear. Another method, one that I've only done under the tutelage of a pastry chef here in New Orleans, was to use an ice bath, and that's very risky because of the water thing that I mentioned earlier, ruining your chocolate. And the third method, which I've actually never done before, is called tabling, and that is manipulating your chocolate on a cold marble or granite surface. And that's what we're going to try today. I have a granite surface, and we're going to clean it spotlessly, dry it perfectly, and we're going to try tabling some chocolate. Now that being said, I'm also going to do a little bit of the seeding because it expedites the process. So let's set up our area and start our ganache. Yay!
All them button things like cars and such have always existed. They've just been waiting in a mountain for the right moment.
Now that we've got our station all set up, we can really get going. Our ganache here is fully melted and we're ready to mix it in. So what I've got going is a third of a cup of coconut oil and half a cup of guava paste. Guava paste melts weirdly, so hopefully it mixes up well as it goes over this dark chocolate. You can use butter, you can use cream, you can use water to make your ganache. I'm using coconut oil and guava paste. And then you want to whisk. Where's my whisk? So by heating up your other components and pouring them over the chocolate, you are melting the chocolate. I want this to have a good balance of chocolate and guava, so I didn't put too much chocolate, which means it's kind of loose, and we may have to let it cool quite a bit before we get started off with our other stuff. I'm gonna add a teensy bit more chocolate. Not too much, you know, you've got to make sure that it's gonna melt. This is very similar to the seeding process that we're gonna do with the chocolate. The rest of the chocolate. It's all chocolate. This is still very hot. Okay. Very nice. We have to let this cool, then we can really get going on our tempering. I have a double boiler set up with a napkin, or a cloth napkin, between my bowl and my pot. So it's a slight buffer with the heat, doesn't let it get too hot. And also any steam that might come up the sides is going to get caught by this napkin, and it's not going to interfere with our chocolate. Time to get our ganache into this piping bag. I go old school. I have reusable piping bags with a little screw and bottom. I don't know what it's called. Anyway. So, easiest way to fill a piping bag is to prop it up. We're going to take our lovely guava ganache and scoop it in. Oh, don't lose it. It's gold. Putting it all in there. Even the little bit that was on the table. Table's clean. Okay. We have our chocolate on the stove melting away in our double boiler. And as soon as all these chips are melted, we're going to transfer it over here. We're going to seed in a little bit of already or still solid chocolate, which is already tempered. And the amazing thing about the crystal structure of chocolate is that by reintroducing the solid chocolate, you're reminding the melted chocolate of the structure it used to have, and it's like, oh, look, 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 and it sort of just collects itself in that way and begins forming that same structure once again. It's amazing. Science. Okay. Bag full of ganache. We're filling up this mold. We've got plenty. And I'm going to leave it right in here. Okay, so we're going to table the chocolate on this surface, and then we're going to scoop the chocolate over the mold here on top of this rack, which is on top of a pan and a silpat, so that all the chocolate that runs over is not wasted. Alrighty. We need a spatula. This spatula is weird and comes apart. There was water on the inside. Not using it. Okay. I have this spatula that I used to make the ganache, which is fine. Okay, this is all melted. Not 100%, but as we mix it in, it'll melt a little more. Because it's not 100% melted, I'm just going to let it go a little bit longer, just get a little bit hotter, and then we can start seeding and tabling. All right, we have our chocolate melted. Definitely hot enough. Now, the bottom of our bowl is wet, so I'm putting a towel down before I put this down. We're gonna seed in just a little bit of chocolate, and we're gonna go lightly back and forth and let it melt. Seeding a little bit before we table will make it so we don't have to table as long. And since I've never tabled before, I don't want to have to do it for too long in case I lose control of the chocolate and make a giant mess. Some of the indicators of your chocolate being properly tempered is a very shiny outside and making very distinct ribbons with the chocolate. Now this is already happening, but I know it's not ready yet. So wipe off this bowl completely here. Wipe off this table. Seems dry. And now we're gonna pour the chocolate on the table. I'm really excited. And I've got a bowl scraper. A bench scraper would be better, but I've got a bowl scraper, and we're just gonna scoop it and do stuff like this, back and forth. Now my technique is not refined, but it's my first time. This is fun. And we're just manipulating it so it cools down. That's all we're doing. You could do this in a bowl, it would take forever and it wouldn't be nearly as fun. I should be using the longer spatula. My hands are getting covered in chocolate, but that's okay. Yes, we're really starting to get that shine to develop. You want to keep as much of your chocolate together as possible. Spread it and scoop it, and spread it and scoop it, and smear it and scoop it, and spread it and scoop it, and slide it and slide it, and slimy and chocolate. No, it's not slimy. This is amazing though. Really just getting in touch with the medium that you're trying to work with. So when I smear it, it's not shiny, but then it develops a shine as it sits, and I think that this is ready. Okay, it's got to sit for a quick second while I wash my hands and readjust. No, fuck it. I'm not going to wash my hands. Okay. I want to bring this under here, but there's no room in my frame, so I'm going to bring this over here, and we're going to fill the mold. And then we're going to tip the mold over onto the rack so that the chocolate can come out. I feel like I don't have enough chocolate for this. Really got to shake it around, get it to move. Oh wow, I told you that thunderstorm was coming. I need to get the chocolate to come out of the mold so that I can get it in the rest of the parts here. You know what I'm saying? Gonna have to temper more chocolate to seal the bottoms. As long as all the molds are filled, the molds are all filled now. Oh, except for those two. I can even get my finger in there and make sure everybody's completely full. You can see some of them are even full of chocolate, but when we flip them over, that should come out. Now, you want to collect all the chocolate on the side because it's still valuable. We're going to use it to seal up the bottom. It can always be retempered. Okay. Now, inverted on the rack. Let it drip. Gotta wash my hands. Gotta get all the chocolate out of the mold, and then we can fill it with our guava ganache. Next step, filling our truffles. Now they've had an opportunity to drip all their chocolate out, and I'm just gonna give them a little cleaning. I'm gonna fill this bad boy with ganache. Now, do not press too hard. The chocolate is still soft in there. And if you press too hard, you could interfere with the coating that is in the mold. My ganache wants to spill out the top here, and I really don't want it to do that. So I'm just gonna squeeze a little bit out so it's not so top heavy. There's really no avoiding getting chocolate everywhere when you make chocolate things.
Listening to the irritating noises of dinosaurs.
Now that our truffles are filled, we can put the backs on them and let them set. Got a little bit more chocolate tempering on the stove. Because it's not very much, I'm not going to get involved in the whole tabling process again. I'm actually just going to stir this until it comes down to temperature. And I'm going to add some of this chocolate that's cool from right in here. So we'll just stir this like this, kind of back and forth, spreading it all around. There's a drop of water on my arm. Not letting that get into this chocolate. It's not gonna ruin this after all the work and all the mess. You know, the more you spread it around, the more surface area it has, the faster it cools down. Essentially, I'm tabling it in this bowl. I'm bowling it. Haha, bowling for chocolate. Like Water for Chocolate, one of my favorite books. Ooh, it's a stormy day. It's a stormy day in New Orleans. Yeah. So. I think this is ready. Now be careful, because when you start smearing, you might mess up the ganache a little bit. So I'm gonna try and get it directly on top of as many of them as I can. I know I just hid all of that with the bowl, but sometimes you gotta do it. Okay, chocolate is on top. Now we are going to gently seal the truffles. Make sure everyone is covered. Okay. And now do this. Okay, go back the other way, make sure everyone's sealed. Like this. There's a little air pocket in there that can mess with your coverage, but it's okay. It's okay if they're not perfect. It's okay if they're not perfect. Feel as though the ganache is interfering with the bottom. But then again, maybe it's not. Just a couple of little holes I want to fill. You have to be very gentle pressing any sort of pressure on top of the chocolate, because you could just move it around, move whatever air is in there around, and break the seal, the surface of the tempered chocolate that you're trying to create. Okay. I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm gonna put these in the refrigerator to set for about 30 minutes, maybe even longer. You will be able to tell once they've set. And then they should all pop out beautifully. That'll be the big reveal. Let's try again. Yeah!
What'd you do?
No, go away. Two are stuck. One. There's the other one. Yay! They all came out. Yes.
Big Truffles? Can I come in now?
Shh! I'm recording!
I didn't know.
Time for our favorite part, the taste. And we have a special guest taste tester today. Would you do the honors, sir?
Yes, I would.
These are guava.
Guava filled?
Mm-hmm. Guava filled. Mmm.
That's delicious. Mm.
It's very chocolatey. There's the guava. It's at the end. The very back.
I don't think I can taste it. I think I can only taste the chocolate. But I don't have that much experience with guava, so I don't know what I'm tasting for. But I could eat another one.
Well, let that flavor linger.
Okay.
See if you can find the guava in the end. And and we'll have another one in a little while, okay?
Okay.
Thanks for watching. See you again next time.
Come again soon.